Hello, this is another game of Age of Empires HD brought to you by Manbeast. I'm just going to check out the stream whilst we begin, just to wait for people to notice that the stream's open and whatnot. One sec, I'll just be checking that. Doop-a-doo. Where are we? Things should be going okay. Yep, everything's set up. Just waiting for the old stream to come on. Okay, everything seems okay. Yeah, and people are watching, cool. Okay, without further ado, let's begin this. Well, I think this is one of the last games of round 1 of the Arabia 16 tournament between Playboy Zoo, I presume that's how that's pronounced, and Spring, who's a member of RVK. RVK is actually one of the best clans on AOC, like a normal AOC, not AoE HD. So no, he's definitely one to watch out for, and I assume Playboy Zoo is fairly good as well. It is a Hun war on Arabia, so fairly standard. Without further ado, let's begin. So, as I said before, in the blue, Spring is playing as the Huns, and in the red, Playboy Zoo is playing as the Huns as well. So it's a classic Hun war, which is really nice because I really like Hun wars. Some people find them quite boring. Some people find them a bit repetitive, but I really like Hun wars personally because that's where you get to see players playing at their best. You really get to see players, you really get to see how good a player is by them playing Huns, especially on maps such as Green Arabia. Obviously, if you're a player who prefers Black Forest and stuff, it's a bit different. But if you're a player who really likes one-on-one Arabia kind of fast-playing rush games, such as myself, then you really want to see players playing Hun wars because it is such a nice and smooth and fast and aggressive way to play a game. Anyway, this should be quite interesting. I mean, Spring's map is pretty decent. He has this gold in the back. I think it's on a hill. I can't really tell. It looks like it's on a hill. So he's got a bit of a hill back there, but it's not much of one. So he should be okay. He should be able to put a town centre on this side of the gold and then a mining camp over here. So he is okay for saturation. His map is fairly wallable. But his secondary gold is on a hill, well, at the front of his base towards a hill as well, but that's not exactly too bad. The scores have just frozen. It's not too bad, especially because it's his secondary gold. I mean, his major one's in the back, so he can always secure that later in the game. I'm just going to sign out because I don't want my friends to keep on popping up and telling me to play them 1v1, but at the moment Spring is about to lure his first ball, so all is going well and good. Yeah, no, his map's actually very wallable. He can wall across here. As I've already said, he can wall across here and here. It's quite a big wall off across there, but it's not too bad. I mean, obviously he wants to wall across here and keep in his berries. He doesn't really need that stone as he's playing Huns, because Tarkans are hardly ever used, ever. Or alternatively, he could wall across here and then wall across here as well, and then he would have very much almost a quarter of the map just to himself to boom in and whatnot, which is just nice, you know. If you're a boomy player, then walling off is great. Then for Playboy, who's also about to lure in his first ball, he hasn't found 2 of his sheep and 1 of his boar over here. In fact, his scout is still, yeah, okay, he got it moving, so that, I assume he's a decent player. But anyway, yeah, for Playboy, his... Oh wow, I just sneezed, sorry about that. For Playboy, his map's pretty decent as well. His map's not quite as wallable as Spring's is. He can wall it off. He can wall across here, or maybe wall across here to keep this gold in. It's a bit of a weird wall off though. Personally, if I was going to wall, I'd go across here, and then across here. Yeah, which is quite nice. And then he can wall palisade down here. We'll just secure that area. But this, yeah, this whole area down by here is very, very vulnerable. If he was going to wall off, he'd have to do quite a forward wall off across here and across here. Not to mention not to mention across here as well. It's not really a great map, especially because you've got this huge crater kind of going all around his base. Obviously not ideal. Spring is being a bit of a douchebag and trying to delay his boar hunt, trying to kill the villager actually. Although this is quite dangerous because he could lose his scout. Okay, he just got away there. Although, oh no! Oh, that's such bad luck. Okay, Tzu just lost a villager, so ah well. But he did get the boar, so it's not too bad. If he'd lost a villager and the boar had gone back, then I would think that was pretty awful. But fortunately, he got the boar, but he did lose a villager, so it's obviously not ideal. He'll probably go up a little bit later, or if he does go up at the same time, then he will have a worse economy. Yeah. Anyway, he is planting more farms now. Just it looks like this is going to be a scout rush from Tzu. He doesn't have many villagers on wood, so yeah, no, I definitely think this is a scout rush. Yeah, normally you have a couple more villagers on wood if you're going to go for archers. So he's got such a high food. Well, he's going to have such a high food count from all the sheep he's got left over, and the boar and the extra farms. So he should be fairly decent. Spring has less farms, but he doesn't need as many because obviously he has an extra villager at this point. And is Spring going up? Yeah, Spring's already going up, whilst Tzu is still not going up. He should be going up soon though. This could be really bad. He's got 23 pop. He's not going to make any. Yeah, okay. If he made another villager, then I would say that's going to be really bad. His feudal time is going to be much worse than Spring's. But fortunately, he didn't make that extra villager, and he should be up in time. He is going for a bit of a wall off, adding a couple of palisades of that accidentally. Well, presumably they're accidental. Back's going up by here, and maybe he'll do a bit of walling off across this side. I can't really see him walling off this side because it's such a far wall, and obviously there are wolves, and plus Spring Scout is just lurking around his base. Yeah, so things are looking okay at the moment. Spring will presumably, will go up to the feudal age first, and he'll probably put down his stable first and get those scouts out first, but it's not too bad when you take into account it will take, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds or so for each scout to get across the map. So by that time, that 20-second wait will give Tzu the time to produce a spearman or something just to fend off the scouts for that time. Plus, as you can see, Tzu has got the better economy at this point. He has 22 villagers compared to Spring. Spring has 24 now, but I presume he's been producing more since he got up to feudal. Spring is doing quite a large wall off across here, but it's not particularly large. In fact, Spring has fast walled across here. He just tapped it a couple of times with the hammer and then left it. So Spring has really got a very defensive base. It's always nice to get a nice defensive base because it does really limit the amount of harassment your opponent can do. A lot of people really dislike walling, but personally I think it's ultimately just what you want. If you like walling, then go for it. If you don't like walling, then well, you know, you're not losing out on anything. It's just some people like to play very defensively, some people don't. I am drinking green tea whilst I cast this because if you live in Britain, you should know it's incredibly hot at the moment, like ridiculously hot. And I was wearing a suit in work today, and I swear I was about to die. But no, yeah, I'm just gonna drink some green tea. I'm just gonna check the stream for a bit. Jumpex, Jumpex is one of the constant streamers of my game, so I like Jumpex. Good for you, Jumpex. Anyway, Tzu has got a couple of spearmen out, so he is able to fend off Spring's scouts for now. I think one of those scouts is the original one, the one with less health. The original took quite a few hits from the town centre, so that's why it's on quite low health. But he actually still has that scout out, so he should be okay. I mean, if you lose your scout, obviously that's really bad, but even if your scout has hardly any health on it, it's still better than having no scout at all. It still adds, I know, an extra couple of hits to a villager, which will add up, and eventually you will be able to kill that villager, so that's lovely. Sue is moving out with his scouts, while Spring is kind of poking around with his. At this point, Sue has quite a lot of spears out. He's about to take gold. Archer range going up, and that villager is going back. Sorry, I've got something caught in my throat. Yeah, so he needs to put down the mining camp. Scouts are moving in, though, for Spring. Sue is about to get a very nasty surprise where he finds out that Spring is fully walled, apart from this little opening by here where he's got 2 spearmen, so that's not nice. One scout did just die for Spring, got attacked by these 2 spearmen. At this point, I mean, those 4 scouts could probably take out those 2 spearmen, but you'd only get like 1 scout left, and it would be so badly damaged that it's just not worth wasting your scouts on spearmen. The same with knights. I mean, knights can take on pikemen, but they're so much more. They cost so much more than pikemen do, because, well, yeah, they just do. So they're a much better unit than pikemen. They can take out their counter unit, but it's just not worth taking it on a pikeman with a knight, because a pike costs hardly anything, whilst a knight costs a lot more. As you can see, Spring has a lot of scouts out at the moment. This could be really interesting. If he keeps on producing scouts, he could go for a kind of doubt style play. He is getting bloodlines as we speak. No blacksmith yet though, which is interesting, but this amount of scouts with bloodlines is pretty dangerous. He is putting the blacksmith down now, so if he gets the +1 attack and the +1 armor, then these are going to be pretty beastly. I mean, fully upgraded feudal scouts can... I think Barbecue Turkman said it pretty well when he said that fully upgraded feudal scouts are like a man riding a giant pair of testicles. They're pretty ballsy. Anyway, so there's around I don't know, 50-point score lead for Spring at the moment, although Zoo is changing into archers, and archers are a lot more sustainable than going straight scouts, and they're a lot easier to defend. Scouts can't really take on spearmen, even when they're fully upgraded. They are able to take on spearmen one-on-one, but it's not really worth it. Whilst with archers, the early feudal counter to archers really is scouts, because not many people go forward and make huge armies of skirmishers just straight off the bat. So if your opponent goes mass or makes 4 or 5 archers, then 4 or 5 scouts will kill those archers. But if you send in 2 spearmen with those 4 or 5 archers, then you've got a completely different story. So yeah, archers with spearmen are a pretty good combination in the feudal age. However, as I said before, scouts aren't really afraid of spearmen once they get most bloodlines. So, and he has the +1 attack, +1 defense, sorry, so he is able to kill the villagers and the spearmen really easily without taking too much damage. I mean, even from taking that town centre fire, the only one which is on really low health is still on pretty high health. Yeah, this is not a good engagement for Tzu. He shouldn't really be engaging. He doesn't have bloodlines, he doesn't have the +1 defense. Yeah, this is not looking good for Tzu at the moment. Anyway, spearmen are coming in to kind of enforce order. That amount of spearmen is kind of threatening to that many scouts. The general rule is, if you've watched Turkman before, Turkman always says that the general rule is around 3 scouts to a spearman. So, but that, in all fairness, that is an upgraded scouts, and these are fully upgraded, so it's a bit different now. But anyway, more scouts, spearmen, and archers are starting to come in. So he will, if Spring micros correctly, he will be able to take out those spearmen with his archers. This is looking like it's going to be a big feudal war, and I actually am a huge fan of feudal wars. Feudal wars are like my favorite. The feudal age is basically my favorite age in the game, just because everything's quite basic, quite quaint. Once you get into castle, the game's a bit more confusing. I mean, I do like castle age and imperial age and stuff, but feudal age is really my forte. Anyway, scouts have died over there. Well, 1 scout's died, and 2 spearmen have died from the archers, and this could very well be GG for Tzu. he hadn't really picked up on this either. He's kind of focusing down over here, and the amount of villagers that will die over here by the time he's picked up on it is not going to be good. Yeah, no, this is really bad. He still hasn't picked up on it. Oh no. He's going to come back and he's going to have lost like a quarter of his villagers on wood. That's 1, 2, 3, 4... 4... No more. Yeah, so 1 there, 1 there. I think 2 of those are spearmen, so... Yeah, so around 5 villagers dead there. Well, that was pretty big for feudal. Plus, if you take in the amount of... I'm not sure how many of these are villagers over here and how many are spearmen and archers and whatnot, but this is not looking good for Sue at the moment. Let's switch to Spring. Fortunately, Spring hasn't hit Castle Age yet, so if Spring was going up to Castle Age whilst we were watching over here, then I would think it's pretty much GG. It's pretty much GG at the moment anyway, but yeah, I think this might have to do with Sue's map. Is incredibly not in his favour. That's the GG there, but that really shows the hill advantage. Basically, Spring was playing quite cleverly, sticking to the hill, and what Sue should have really done is kind of build his military buildings towards the top of the hill. So then, even if Spring like came down here to harass villagers, then his military units would be made up by here, and they'd be able to get the hill advantage shooting down. But I guess the only other thing he could have done is walled off completely. But no, I really think the map wasn't in Sue's favour. But Spring did play that really well. He did apply a lot of aggression, and I do love my feudal war, so it was very entertaining. I'm just gonna go and get the screenshots. Okay, so military in Spring's favour, eco in Spring's favour, technology just in Spring's favour. Yeah, no, everything pretty much matches up. I think it was in the Zellfire Viper games where there was something like, I think Zellfire had a better army than Viper did, but Viper's eco was way better. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm just going to take these screenshots. Yeah, cool. Okay, done that. I'll be back in around 30 seconds to cast the next game. I'm going to drink some green tea, and then I will be back. Till next time, Manbeast.